Schumer. A few things to make clear at the top. Any partisan proposal that seeks to revive a Trump border wall and demands sweeping far-right immigration policies which run counter to our values as Americans is headed nowhere in the Senate as far as I'm concerned. If Republicans do want to have a serious conversation about a border, that is welcome. But that starts with keeping our focus on ideas that can actually get widespread bipartisan support, like addressing the root causes of migration, something almost entirely absent from their proposal, and meeting our operational needs. Next, I am very glad to see that colleagues on both sides recognize we must pass one comprehensive package with resources to our allies in Israel, in Ukraine, and the Indo-Pacific, and humanitarian aid to those who are caught in the conflict. I spoke about this earlier today when I opposed a bill from Republicans that left far too much work undone by only funding Israel. Bottom line, we cannot be pitting these priorities against each other and telling the world we see some allegiances as urgent and others as political leverage. Our allies in Ukraine can no more afford a delay than our allies in Israel. Ukraine is at a critical point in a brutal war to defend its sovereignty against Putin's bloody invasion. We must not give Putin a win and throw Ukraine to the wolves for political expediency. After all, what sort of message does it send about our commitment to our allies if we delay Ukraine any further, especially after we already missed an earlier opportunity to get this done? We cannot just do half our jobs here, leaving out any of those priorities out. And we cannot kick the can down the road. It would be a serious failure in American leadership. I'm continuing to work on a bipartisan package to meet all of these critical needs. And I want to say this as well. We also have to address the expiration of child care stabilization funding, which is exactly why I'm holding a hearing tomorrow to discuss more of the President's supplemental funding request, particularly regarding child care and our needs at the southern border. Now, we cannot pretend that child care is any less urgent than any of the other challenges we face. For every single parent, child care is a do-it-now problem, not a do-it-next-again problem. We needed to treat it the same way, as urgent and as essential. I saw reporting just yesterday in the Washington Post that covered what the expiration of the child care stabilization funds means for families and communities across our country. That reporting drew a straight line from the expiration of those federal dollars to a struggling child care provider in business for 18 years, forced to shut down, to a mom with 2 young boys and a newborn who then was forced to leave her job full-time. She lost her child care. And finally to her employer, a dental practice in a small town that is now down to a dental assistant, meaning they can now only serve half their patients. Child care is infrastructure. It couldn't be more plain. We have to start investing in child care with the same level of bipartisan commitment we showed with our other infrastructure when we passed the bipartisan infrastructure law. But in the meantime, we've got to shore up these stabilization funds to keep the child care industry, which holds up every other sector of our economy, from crumbling. The child care crisis is a ticking clock. It's more than a ticking clock. It is an alarm bell that's ringing. I don't know how many more ways I can say this, but I am going to keep saying it until it sinks in and that we take action. This is an issue for families, for providers, and for employers in virtually every single community every day. So until we solve it, my colleagues are going to keep hearing about this from me constantly. Thank you.